So the machine work is done for the most part. Got it all done last night. I did make a couple mistakes. As you can see, I hogged out way too much material there. And that's because I had these keys outside. I had them loose. They weren't attached to this. And I went and measured the full depth of the key. And then that's what I was hogging out at. And then halfway through, I realized I only should have been measuring that. And so I corrected that when I got to here. The other mistake was that I probably should have just stopped when I got to here and, chewed away at the rest of this with the end mill. Because the drill bit was walking. It didn't have enough material over here and over here to grab onto, so the material here and here was pushing on it, and the drill bit walked up into here and walked into there. But as far as mistakes go, that's as good as it can get, because I need clearance between the top of this and the top of this, so that doesn't really matter what I did. I could have drilled those holes and said it was on purpose to make it lighter, and you would have all believed me. So anyway, that was it for the mistakes. Everything else went as planned. It took forever to do every single operation on this because stainless steel is such a nightmare to machine, and I'm never going to machine stainless steel ever again for as long as I live. The other issue is that this was crashed and this was bent. I don't think it's going to affect anything, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this with this. But I am going to say that this coming summer, I'm going to buy a brand new arbor, and I'm going to do this project all over again with tool steel and not stainless. And hopefully the lessons I learned from this will be applied to that, and I'll have an even cleaner part with no mistakes and no bends and whatever else, not stainless. All that's left to do now is I need to figure out, I got to cut this because you can see it's too long, and I want the bottom to sit, I want the bottom of the tool to sit right about in here. Now that pocket that's there, the reason being, on this tool, I have to chamfer this edge and this edge so that when the tool sits in here, the corners aren't going to interfere with each other. And then what's going to happen, it's going to sit about like that. I'm going to run a weld across here, and then inside that pocket, I'm going to put a weld. And the idea behind that is as those welds cool, it's going to pull the part down into the back of the surface here. Once that's completed, then I'm going to run a weld across here and across there, and then I will pretty much be done with the exception of balancing. And I can show you it's already kind of balancing itself. So once that tool's in there, it may balance just fine, but I'm going to machine something to put this on, and then I'm going to see how the balance is. I might have to add weight back here. But that'll be it. And then once all that's done, then I'm going to put it back in a lathe, do a spring pass on that surface, because That's not going in. And funny thing is that when I did the lathe work and then I clamped this in the vise, it was clamped like this in the vise, and I did all this stuff here, and I cleaned the part up and I came back to do a test fit. I couldn't get this, like now, I couldn't get it together, so I had to put it back in the lathe, do a spring pass, and then I could get it together. Well, on the last thing that I did, which was this, I mounted it in the vise like so. So the vise is clamping it this way, just underneath of this here. So it was sitting in the vise up like that, clamped down here at the bottom. And then I just ran the mill, you know, back and forth until I got my depth. And then I went that way to get the width. And I didn't think it would be a problem, but after I got done and I cleaned the part up, once again, I can't get these two surfaces together. And I don't understand why this diameter keeps changing. So I don't want to put it back in the lathe right now and do a spring pass, and then I do all this other work, and then, you know, I'm just going to wait until everything's completely done. Then I'll do the final spring pass. Then I'll put it together. And once it's together, that's it. It's together forever. It's not coming apart. So that's it. I am going to do some laser engraving on this. Put a little bit of information on it. The guy at the tool store told me that I was going to destroy my end mills and drill bits on this, which I absolutely did not do. And I can see, you know, why he said that. You should be using cobalt on this and not stainless steel. It is what it is. This is what I had. And I did nick a corner ever so slightly, but the rest of the corners are fine. I can't find any damage on the flutes. This is definitely good for another job. And I can't find any problems on this one at all. This one did this right here. Those are good. The drill that I bought to drill those holes, nothing's wrong with it. So
I did machine stainless steel with high-speed steel.
And my high-speed steel is just fine. So there it is. I hope I never see stainless steel again. I absolutely hate this stuff. You know, I am going to make another one this summer. I'm going to get a new R8 arbor that's not bent or kachingered in any way. I will get 3.5-inch diameter, 1.5-inch tall tool steel, and I'm going to make this all over again this summer. And I'm going to be a lot more particular. I mean, I have this, but the next tool I use is going to be a lot different. I don't know where this came from. It was Chinesium. I sanded the black oxide off of it because I'm going to have to be welding on this. This is for the hamburger grill. I think it'll be fine for that project. It might be fine for a lot of other projects. I don't know. I want to use a different insert and a whole different tool and just kind of see what's out there before I make up my mind. I did get my interference fit. The two will get dropped into each other.
Well, it's been fun.
Anyway, there it is. And I think this is like an entry-level type of thing. I think anybody could do this. It's not really all that difficult what I did. So here it is with the tool in place. It's a really tight, snug fit. So what'll happen next is it'll get a weld right along there. Right inside that pocket. Right up on the edge, there'll be a weld in there, and that'll suck the tool down into the fly cutter thingy. And then I'll finish with one right across there. I don't know if I'm going to put one here at this point or not. I might just leave it. And you can see how the insert is slightly above the rest of the cutter here. Is something that's the way I wanted that.